want to mine and do cool stuff,
Oh,
like arson.
there's nothing good here.
I say that though because I spent the rest of the day
So
bored
I'm just
digging
gonna.
out of mine. I need an easy way to get deep into the cave, so I'm placing stairs all behind me. It's a little annoying, but what's more annoying is running up and down the stairs to craft more of the stone cutter. Day 6, well, why don't I just bring the stone cutter with me? That took me way too long to figure out. Down at the deep slate level, I found 4 diamonds. If you had 4 diamonds, what would you get? Obviously, a pickaxe and a jukebox. I could then play some tunes to listen to while expanding the ranch. Day 7, I worked on the accessibility of the ranch. It's my ranch. I don't want getting around it to be a challenge. But also, what's a ranch without some animals? There were some gathered up a pretty gentle slope, and even better, these animals can technically jump. But wait a minute. You're not an animal. Day 8, I mined into the mountain to expand the farm. Now
Mama, don't worry if you really messed up. My Minecraft's been super
especially because
funky.
oh yeah, and these animals, I'm gonna be nice and let them roam around my base. Can't wait to get that free range. I spent the next day building a diving board to get down to the dock easier. What dock, you might ask? This one.
No!
Right now.
Down here.
Straight up
Wood.
Hitting the jump button. Water
But
is a strong suit. Like one
hey, Mr. Polar Bear.
at me almost killed me.
Hey, Mr. Polar Bear's son. I'll be on my way.
Start exploring the ocean. That was my most idea. 2 minutes in, guess what I found
From
the ocean? Yeah, it's a lake. Probably could have put the ducks
in
in
the
highway. Instead, I went and explored the caves. Not being able to jump doesn't make it impossible to navigate caves, just tedious. It also makes it easier to get snuck up on. 11, I was back to the surface to work on the great tutorial. The road being amplified is a much bigger pain than I thought it would be. Like, even my front yard is inaccessible to me. So
there's the iron.
Flatten that bad boy. Hey, it looks like Kansas. I decided to have the front yard be where I put some of my infrastructure. Like I turned this little shack I first smelted in into a full-on power plant. But this land is kinda looking open. Probably should mine for some deep walls. It was after I mined the staircase to diamond level that I found some lava. So I built my first nether portal and decorated it with deep slate. Just like everything else I built. If you're a fan of Deep Slate, oh, you're gonna love this video. Day 13, I finally went through the nether portal to find where it will put us. This sucks. I'm going home. Instead, I just chopped down some trees. Because I can't jump, meaning I can't reach as high, these big trees are a pain to chop down. I like my solution much better. Later that day, I did end up going to the nether, but only to save the sheep that had gone through the portal. But man, I'm greedy, so I ended up bridging to the closest landmass. That's where I met my greatest enemy. No, not this skeleton. Soul Sand. Because its height is 1/16 lower than a regular block, I can't walk from Soul Sand onto stairs. With a gas shooting at me, I just got the heck out of there because the nether is going to be a lot harder than I thought. But I'm not a quitter. One of our movement methods can help us with that. I just need to do some exploring. So I spent day 14 prepping for an adventure and making a cow pen. I can't stress how incredibly important this cow pen will be. I brought a bunch of ladders to get over mountains, but it wasn't even enough to get me over a single hill. Luckily, I did find some new tree types, so I could turn their wood into more ladders and then bring the saplings home to grow at the ranch. I'm supposed to be looking for villages right now, but come on, you can't pass up on dark oak. Most of my traveling took place on the ocean, steering a boat. Could start building the Trans-Minecraft-Enental Railroad. Once again, using Deep Slate. I started by just placing the ground that the track will go on, which took me all day. But as you can see, it takes us to a pillager outpost. I want to start having these guys raid a village, so having easy access is vital. Day 51, I was laying down the track. until I was ambushed. Shooting down these birds truly felt like stopping a western train robbing. Now I could start having pillagers raid the village that I previously raided, but I'm making a separate so they can be more accessible. If there's a villager in the middle of a platform, then they should hypothetically spawn on this flat platform. Day 53, I used the railroad to get to the pillager outpost. All I need to do is kill one of these pillager guys that has a banner on its head. It's a bit rarer than the others, so I didn't get one this evening. Also, I couldn't think of a worse place to try and run around killing mobs. I just sniped them.
Get away from me!
It wasn't until the morning of day 54 I killed a pillager and got the effect I needed. Well, I should have. I got halfway home when I realized I didn't have the effect. Then, because when I shot the cart, it fell off the track, I had to walk back home. That evening, I got another minecart and headed back to the outpost. Today was truly a lot of nothing. So to thank me, the moment I got to the pillager outpost, the game gave me a pillager with a banner. So day 55, I started the raid on the platform, but none of the raiders spawned on the platform ever. It kinda worked though, because then all the raiders were either trapped on a shore or slowly swimming around. So instead I could pirate around and shoot all of them. I did run out of arrows, so day 56 I booked it over to the Fletcher, pawned off my sticks, bought some more arrows, and went back to shooting the raiders. I just chilled in my boat. There was barely any times I had to move up blocks. This netted me 4 totems, which basically means I can die 4 times without actually dying. Yeah, have fun getting me to hell. Ironically though, I am prepping for a trip to hell. In there is our crazy new movement method.
I had my shield, bro.
Nah, I'm just kidding, but I do need a saddle. Because I drank fire resistance, I could just jump into the lava, saddle this strider, then swim up and ride on it. Let me say that again. I swim up and ride it. Guess who can't swim? Yeah, the same guy who now has to slowly make stairs to the surface. But this is one of my favorite movement methods. I can just ride around and shoot. Day 58, I was back in the overworld to remodel the ranch. My favorite part of these 100 days is just how I can take it down and just do whatever I want. But without being able to jump, I've barely built anything. I built a ladder that allows me to chop down spruce much easier because my next build needs a lot of it. See, ever since I've settled this ranch, I've had a dream. A dream for a staircase to the heavens. I can't build it too high to the heavens, though, or I might start speaking French. Once I was out of stairs, I headed back down
I'm gonna spare the golem. I'm gonna spare the golem.
I think I slept through day 6.
That's a polar.
Well, I might as well use this energy mining some diamonds. The strip mine I had ran straight into an underwater ancient city, which exposed some diamonds. It's gonna feel so illegal. And if you want to do this challenge yourself,
probably been in this position before. You're playing your favorite Roblox game, and you want to spend some Robux so that you can take yourself to the...
Did you know Minecraft added a new dimension? It's called Hell. This super flat world is just 3 layers of dirt and slime. There's absolutely nothing else. That's why my day 1 house looks so bad. It would be easy to think you can't get much progress in a barren world, but over these 100 days, I'm gonna prove myself by using multiple forgotten Minecraft mechanics. We're going to collect wood and a totem of undying. Guess which one is harder? The wood! The wood! But that's gonna take a while, so day 2 I just dug a bigger moat around my house. If a slime somehow got in, I don't know what I would do. I then spent the rest of the day looking for chickens. All the other animals are kinda useless right now because I can't breed them, but I can get seeds from bone meal, making raw chicken my first renewable food source. They'll live in this box peacefully until the great massacre of day 36. But for now we live in the present. Day 3 I made the moat even deeper. Now remember, I'm digging this whole thing with my hands, so by the time I was done with it, it was already midday. I had just enough time to decorate my house house, if you can even call it that, and then spent the night killing zombies. Firstly, rotten flesh is honestly a better food source than uncooked chicken. But secondly, it's the only way to gather iron. To be able to get a totem of undying and wood, we're going to need water. To do so, we need 10 iron, but the odds of zombies dropping iron is 1 in 120, so we need to make this more efficient. One thing I noticed was that zombies would get knocked away and I'd have to wait for them to walk back to hit them again. So day 4, I set out to fix that. My first design was a pillar in the middle of a pit. Then to make it safer, I built a path from my house to the pillar. That night, a spider was guarding the pillar, so I ended up turning a nearby creeper explosion into another pillar. I went to test it out, but that was quickly ended by a skeleton. Day 5, I decided to label my chicken coop, not with signs, but with big silly letters. Unfortunately though, I got distracted killing zombies once night hit, so we don't have chickens, just cheh. Day 6, I killed a horse. Multiple, actually. This night, you can see me slowly developing the best method for killing zombies. So far, I pillar up and then build a wall behind the zombies so they don't get hit far away. This allows me to get more critical hits and faster hits. Getting iron is a 1 in 120 chance, so we are looking at killing over 1,000 zombies just for water. We gotta be efficient. Day 7, it was raining, so I thought it was a good time to strip mine. Then with the dirt, I started placing it around my base. Spiders have made killing zombies a lot harder. They're just everywhere, so this dirt should theoretically give spiders no space to spawn. If it doesn't, I guess I'll just look like Lego. Nothing else interesting happened day 7. Except I got our first piece of iron. What's cool is that I got it using my nearly perfected chamber. The zombies walk in and I can hit any zombie around me. Even better, I can build this nearly anywhere for cheap. Day 8, I located a chunk where a lot of slimes were spawning. These yellow lines you see on the screen outline each individual chunk. If you're curious, you just have to press F3 and G at the same time. Then I mined the entire chunk, which got me dirt, but also now prevents slimes from spawning in it. The constant clomping of slimes is annoying, so any little thing I can do to stop it helps. Oh, also that night, I immediately got another piece of iron. Those odds are incredible. This is awesome because we are now 10 days ahead of our schedule. Getting wood might be possible. Day 9, oh my goodness, please, someone calculate my odds. I've killed a lot of zombies, but odds are I should just have 1 iron. Even luckier, a zombie dropped a shovel. Well, it was lucky until the shovel blew up. But after eating some rotten flesh, I went back to the explosion. This is a miracle. Even though it is a shovel, I'll be using this as a weapon. Zombie killing is the priority. Day 10, there isn't any sound, but I assure you, I still heard the slimes louder than ever, which makes this chunk being fully mined out even better. And you know me, the rest of the day was killing zombies. What else was I gonna do? So now I've developed a routine. During the day, I would dig out a chunk for dirt, and at night, I murder. Well, just like New Year's resolutions, I only stuck to that for a day. Today, making a big staircase sounded more fun. Maybe if it's high enough, it'll reach heaven. Trying to do that has never gone wrong. But there were people at my doorstep. Looks like I can't finish the staircase. They didn't drop their crossbows, which made that whole experience useless. Well, day 13, just eating rotten flesh was getting to my mind. But while killing the chickens, I want to make this whole process more efficient, so the original chicken coop is just for egg collecting, and the chickens in this new pit are for tasting. Day 14, I was still working on infrastructure for chickens, notably an easy place to get seeds. It's really just a box wide enough to bone meal grass. I know it's not much, but I don't have much to work with. At the end of these 100 days, I want to have some sense of progress, something to look back on, and this box is something I can see that resembles progress. But progress can be quite slow. Some days, all I can do is mine dirt and kill zombies. It's an important job though, because I can now use the dirt for my next project. The biggest slowdown for killing zombies is I can't during daytime, which cuts our iron getting time in half. So I hope, with just dirt and a dream, I can make an artificial night by covering the entire world with dirt. Day 17, I realized that was hard. I made a box instead. That didn't really work either. Like, yeah, it was dark, so zombies spawned in it, but so did literally everything else. But that doesn't mean the idea sucks. So I spent day 18 gathering dirt, which I then used to expand the shade. It turned night, so I couldn't do much testing with the shade, but that night was wild. I came out with 2 more iron. Day 19, I did a bunch of random chores and some stuff to expand the shade, but the only thing I found important enough to write in my notes was, "Spider my friend while mining chunk, then attacked." Amazing poetry. Can I get a literary analysis in the comments? Day 20, I got 2 more iron. I have not killed nearly enough zombies to have this much iron, but now we have enough for a cauldron. So you may ask, how can we craft a cauldron without a crafting table? I'm not sure. I'm too busy playing Peggle right now. Okay, break's over. Here's the answer. It's called I lied. See, I wasn't super honest. When I created the world, I had it come with a bonus chest. Now I threw out everything, letting it despawn, except for 2 apples and a log. Just those 3 items will allow us to do so much more. So we're looking for the chest right now. But when I buried the chest, I forgot where I put it. But I know it's got to be around here somewhere. Somewhere around here. It's just behind this block. So, funny story, I lost it. But we still have our luck. That night, I was making a path to the mine, and it was just right there. So, 21 days in, we finally have a crafting table. Progress. Day 22 was back to testing the shade, and today's testing went right. One thing that's really difficult is how to sort through all the skeletons and creepers to get just zombies. And that's when I learned a new mechanic. Zombies for some reason can see you farther away. So if you walk close enough for the zombies to see you, but far away enough for the creepers to not care, you can lure them to a killing chamber. This is proof of concept. I just need to make the roof bigger. While expanding the shade, I realized there was enough space for a call for help. I used my colorful flowers to make an SOS and a helicopter pad. Maybe there's a slim chance someone will fly over and rescue me. Maybe they secretly added helicopters to the game. I think I'm losing my mind. Day 23, just look how many zombies there are, especially at daytime. One problem though, they kept burning in the sun, and to get iron, I needed to be the one to kill them. So it's time for more shade. This farm is so fast, it's more efficient to kill zombies during the day and then dig at night. Never would I have thought we'd make it so far as to have zombie farm on super flat with no structures. Day 25, I started storing dirt in the extra bonus chest, so if things start disappearing and reappearing in my inventory, you know why. It's not that I'm cheating. Mostly. Day 26 was a standard day of zombie killing. I just want to hold you here though, just for a little bit. I can just cut through 20 minutes of zombie killing like that fast, but remember, I have to endure this, so you must as well. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, blam, terrorism! I find it funny that I've optimized my zombie killing methods to the point where I'm constantly killing them, but I've still only gotten just 1 iron from it. Not much I can do about it though. The constant critical hits on zombies is now forever playing in my mind. The morning of day 29, we got another piece of iron. We are almost free from zombie killing, 1 more iron, and then we have enough for a bucket. Day 30 was the first rainstorm with the cauldron placed down. Over time, the rain will slowly fill it up. Once full, you can use the bucket to get an infinite water source. I'm not sure how rare it is for the cauldron to fill up, but this rainstorm filled it up 1/3 of the way. Also, I'm skipping day 31 because it was boring, and on to day 32 where I finally got enough iron for a bucket. Frick you zombies, I've been hearing your complaints and groans for far too long. I hope to never see you again. But little did Jaren know, he was going to be back to these zombies in 10 days. So day 33, I took down the shade platform. Not the entire thing, that would take too long, but I just made enough holes so nothing else could spawn. Day 34, I moved on to my next project, pig collecting. I told you guys they were important. Now I'm curious if you can guess why I need them. Here's a hint, they help us cure a zombie villager. If you can't figure it out, maybe I'll tell you on day 39. The first thing I did for the pigs was turn a mined out slime chunk into a pig pen. I even put up 2 walls around it because I can't have any skeletons or creepers getting in and killing my pigs. But I didn't feel safe, even with 2 walls, so I dug more dirt. Day 35, I built the outermost wall for the pig pen, then inside started slime and mob proofing it. I wasn't going to let anything get in. I even made an outer trim to stop the spiders from climbing in. You know, there's something missing in this pen. Oh, that's right. Day 36, I finally explored my land to find some pigs. Now, I've only gotten 3 carrots from killing zombies, and I can't grow more. I'd need a hoe for that, so I can't really breed pigs. Which makes it more awkward that the entire day I didn't find any pigs, heck, even any wildlife. I did some searching online to fix this issue, and it seems like it's a problem with there being passive mobs in a spawn chunk. Because those spawn chunks around my base are
Is this it? This is it!
Imagine drifting off to 5-star sleep every night. Make that dream a reality with a top-rated mattress from Raymore and Flanigan. Sleep better for as little as $15 a month with no interest for 72 months. Start your journey to better sleep today at Raymore and Flanigan.
lot of school bus conversions I've seen online have curved ceilings, which are cool, but I think flat ceilings like in a house would make this build super unique. Then we started framing out the bathroom, which is going to have a toilet, sink, and a full-size shower. And of course, in the very back of the bus, we have the master bedroom and the office.
This big empty area up here is gonna be the office. So I gotta put a floor in here. I think that's about it. I was trying to think of a list there.
In case you haven't noticed, the back of the bus is going to be 2 stories. On the second story is my office, and right now we're just putting in the floor and finishing up the framing where we can put the walls on later. Meanwhile, my dad was installing the windows in the kitchen.
Jay's out doing a video, Colby's helping him. I'm stuck here doing windows. Measure twice. Two windows are in. I think they look great. It's coming along.
The next challenge was installing massive water tanks underneath the bus. In this bus, or really any RV, there's 3 types of water tanks: a freshwater tank, a gray tank, and a black tank. The freshwater supplies clean water to everything in the bus. The gray tank is where the wastewater from the sink and the shower go, while the black tank is what you flush down the toilet. Now, according to Google, the average black tank size for an RV is 15 to 50 gallons. Mine is going to be 200.
These black tanks are absolutely massive. I'll get like 250 flushes before I have to drain these tanks.
Then the freshwater tank is 100 gallons. And finally, the gray tank is 100 gallons.
That's it.
And now that the water tanks were in, we could start plumbing. This was the last step before spray foam insulation. At this point, the bus was really starting to look like something. The windows were installed, the ACs were installed, the electric was done. The next time you see this bus, it's going to be spray foamed. I can't wait. I think now's a good time to tell you what this bus is for. About 6 years ago, I met my girlfriend Kelsey. And her and I made the decision to move out of our apartment and turn this bus into our dream home. And she has absolutely no idea, but when this bus is done, I'm taking it to the beach and I'm gonna ask her to marry me. Yep, that's a pretty crazy plan for a YouTube video. But for now, it's time to cover up all this spray foam with drywall. And as you can see, there is a lot to put up. All right, Kelsey, you are gonna put this sheet up. There you go. There you go. A little higher. A little higher.
All right, hold on. Stop it there.
There you go.
Yeah, you're good. Once Kelsey headed out, Colby and I finished screwing in the first sheet, where we could move on to the hallway, which was pretty difficult. This is arguably our sketchiest piece of drywall so far. Will it tilt? Okay, I gotta help him. All right, we got it. Now we're just screwing it up. Then when we finished up the living room / kitchen area, we were able to drill a ton of holes for the can lights to go inside the ceiling and make this bus extremely bright. Wow, this looks so cool. And after nearly 2 months of working in a dark bus, we finally had light. Then I constructed my pantry. That way we could finish up the drywall in the kitchen. Right now, Colby's finishing up the laundry room and the end of the hallway where we can get started on the stairs and then the master bedroom. Meanwhile, I'm finally closing off the driver's cab until we put a door there. When I was designing the interior of this bus, I actually incorporated a 9-foot attic space above the bathroom. This will give me plenty of storage when I'm living in the bus, but more importantly, it's a great place to put the dehumidifier.
So the dehumidifier is sitting right there. Look at that. Yes.
When you're living in a bus, or any tiny home really, one of the problems you're going to run into is humidity. And to put it simply, humidity is how much water is floating around in the air. Usually your ACs take care of this, but in my bus, the area is so small, the ACs will cut off before it can get all the moisture out of the air. And if the humidity level gets too high, it can cause mold growth and a ton of health problems. So this dehumidifier, in my opinion, is completely necessary to this build.
That is amazing.
We also took the time to run a kitchen vent and 2 bathroom vents. Then we routed these vents to the outside of the bus, where we could finally put on our bathroom ceiling. And now we could somehow turn this mess into a luxury bathroom.
Okay, this is the fun part. We get to do some waterproofing.
The shower is obviously one of the most important parts of any bathroom because it's something that will be used every single day. This shower is big enough to fit 2 people at one time with dual shower heads and dual controls and dual sprayers. We even incorporated a little shelf to hold shampoo and stuff. While my dad was working in the bathroom, I was working on the front and the back of the bus, putting in the office and the loft ceiling. I think it's really cool to have a section of curved ceiling to remind you you're still in a bus. Plus, they give me a little extra height where I need it.
See what they look like. Oh man. Wow.
Back to the bathroom, we're finally installing the tile. Kelsey and I wanted this whole bathroom to look luxurious and feel like a spa, so we used the same high gloss tile everywhere. And for now, the bathroom was done, and it's time to move on to the kitchen.
Colby and I just got done designing the kitchen in the bus. Look at it. Oh, it's gonna be insane.
Cabinet day is always my favorite. You're about to see how these cabinets transform the whole kitchen. And while Colby was installing cabinets, I started working on the very nasty driver's cab to make it to an area I'd actually want to spend a couple hours in. All this is getting a makeover. To fix all this mess, I had to strip all this stuff down to nothing. And yeah, it looked pretty scary. But this is the only way I could clean it properly and rip out the entire floor. So we're about to fill in this empty space with our overhead cabinets. Here goes nothing. You see those little marks inside those top cabinets? In those top cabinets are going to be these can lights that connect to a dimmer. So we'll have some ambient lighting on the very top cabinet. Back to the driver's cab, I decided to go ahead and repaint my plastics because they look so old. Then I put a nice new vinyl floor down. I ended up making the cab go from this to this. Back to the opposite side of the kitchen, we assembled the bar. This is basically my kitchen table and will seat up to 4 people. And now all the cabinets were finally ready for paint.
Wow. What a good color.
Once the cabinets were done, we were finally able to move on to the more detailed stuff, like putting up the crown molding to hide that last little bit of curve. And the window trim. Then Colby got to work on the cabinet doors, and even made the top ones with frosted glass panels. Once they were all primed and painted, he put them up. This is one of those things where I've been wanting to do it, but not wanting to do it. And that is getting this huge washer dryer in the bus. One of the things I promised Kelsey was a full-size washer dryer, and the space we made for it was perfect. But the problem was getting it around the stairs and through the hallway. Can you guys set it down on something?
Yeah. Step. Lean it up. Okay, lean it back down. Lean it back down. Lean it back down.
Hang on.
Now set it in.
There's no way we're lifting that up our stairs. Obviously this unit's a little big, so we figured out how to take the dryer off and we put it in the office.
The original plan was to get this in here before we put the stairs up.
Then once the washer was over the stairs, we could put the dryer back on, where we could barely squeeze it in the spot that we made for it. The idea was to make it really tight where it wouldn't wobble around while you're driving, but it probably could have been a little looser. I hope this thing doesn't break, because it's not coming out. Then we installed our full-size refrigerator, which was actually way easier than the washer and dryer.
Dude. That could not look better.
This is your freezer right here, dude.
Dude, this is crazy!
This is the biggest part because you have...
At this point, we're about 4 months into this build. Kelsey still has absolutely no idea that I'm going to propose at the beach. I've known her for 6 years, and for the last 3, she's been patiently awaiting the question.
Hey, babe.
What's it missing?
I don't know.
What's it missing?
I don't know.
What is it missing?
What most of you guys probably don't understand is she's been supporting me since day one. Literally, on the first video of this channel, she stayed with me during that entire challenge. Babe, thank you. Thank you so much. Today's one of the most important days of the entire build. We are starting on the roof deck. And why is the roof deck so important? This is where I'm doing the proposal. Putting railings on this deck is very complicated because the bus is already at the legal height limit. So I designed custom brackets that bolted onto the sides, allowing the railings to fold down when they're not in use. Then after I welded the railings on, Colby and I ran cable through them to make it safe. Definitely don't want Kelsey like fainting and falling off or something. Then we put up the ladder, and for now, the deck was done. At this point, the bus only had a couple more major things until, well, we were done. Right now, Colby's in the master bedroom installing insulation on the ceiling for soundproofing, where we can finally get the drywall in and the lights. Meanwhile, on the other side of the bedroom, my dad literally built a closet into the staircase while I was getting ready to install our off-grid system. At the heart of the system were 4 200 amp hour 12-volt batteries. Whenever we're on the road, these will basically plug into the bus, giving us complete power.
Each one of these batteries is 135 pounds.
I wired them together and then took 2 wires back into the engine compartment to hook up to a second alternator I installed myself. This will charge the batteries while the bus is running, pretty much giving me unlimited power on the road. And once I made sure everything worked and looked good, I put carpet down where I could start building my bed. I'm building this bed in 2 parts. One that goes on this engine cover, and then the other goes over top of everything on hinges, so it can fold up and down like this. Meanwhile, directly above me, the office was finally ready for carpet. This pink stuff is what goes underneath the carpet to make it feel a bit softer. I also did the loft in the front of the bus. Carpet's great for many reasons, but the main one for me is just something about it makes it feel like home. mean, just look how nice and cozy these spaces feel now. Now it's time to do something I've been waiting on for months. Install the ceiling fan. We have to be the only bus in the world with a ceiling fan on the ceiling. Then it was back to the bathroom to install a bidet smart toilet, give the ceiling a coat of paint, install the dual shower heads and controls, and finally the vent covers. Then it was time for tile. This tile has no business being in this bus, but we don't care because it's gotta go in the bus. Alright guys, today's the day where we get our countertops in. This is crazy. This is crazy. So this is my living room, and it's obviously missing a couch. Now we can't just run out and buy a couch because nothing's going to fit in here. So it looks like I'm gonna be learning how to build a couch. To build this couch, I can't explain to you how many YouTube videos I had to watch because none of us have the slightest clue on how to build furniture. But honestly, during this video we had no idea how to do a roof raise. We still don't know how we're going to paint it. And we definitely didn't think a roof deck was possible. So many things we had no idea what we were doing. But you know, a lot of times if you just commit to a goal and stick with it no matter what, you'll be surprised by the end result. Oh my god, it looks so good.
We built a couch? Who knows how to build couches?
The bus was starting to look amazing on the inside, but on the outside, it still looked the same as it did 6 months ago. So it's finally time for a paint job.